mental space. If you ever need me, just call. I'ma come running, give it my all. Love is love, God wins. Keep your vibrations high and watch how your blessings. Wake up to the take up, time for a shake up. Everything is changing, there's a real wake up. Mr. Wise is way ahead, go back, listen to what he said. Truth being told, expose the lie. The brand new sky is something you can't deny. This is the reason why. On fire, my soul's on fire. It's like the light moving up higher. My soul's on fire, on fire. Turn up, it's getting hot. So learn up or burn up, we're being taught. The past, future, in the now you will understand. If you allow, Mr. Wise will talk you through. He's gonna take that walk with you. He can give you the notes, let your spirit reply. You will feel why. My soul's on fire. It's like the light moving up high. My soul's on fire, on fire. Hey, Mr. Wise, can you say it again? Louder for the ones in the back. Mr. Wise, can you play it again? You keep my soul on track. Mr. Wise, can you tell us again? Tell us everything you know, from the beginning to the very end. You make my spirit glow. Speak to my soul, speak to my soul. Speak to my soul, speak to my soul. Speak to my soul, speak to my soul. Speak to my soul, speak. My soul's on fire. On fire, it's like the light moving up higher. My soul's on fire. My soul's on fire. My soul's on fire.
Can y'all hear me? Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I had it muted. When you think about it like that, when you think about it like that, it's basically you have to look at it to say like, okay, how can I, help, right? People are oblivious to their own ignorance, right? So when people don't know how to do something, they would much rather, go into the, oh, that's not important, like that, you know what I mean? Because think about how many older people don't learn technology because it's not a part of their learning, right? And then think about how many young people that don't care about body language or how to read somebody's facial expressions and stuff like that. Like there's a detachment because how we were taught, reading body language, different tones in people's voice. Like our youth, they came up in a texting era, and you think about what the pandemic did with this social distancing stuff. Technology has become our means of social, gathering, social, engineering, however you want to look at it. So it's a new way of socializing out there now, right? There's a brand new way of socializing out there now. It's two things that's beneficial to this concept, right? Two things that's beneficial to this concept, right? If you put it out there for people to hear other people's music, up and coming artists, new artists, so on and so forth. When you create an album, like, what I'm saying, new artist mixtapes where you do this, right? And you get the talent, you go TikTok. I'm not really nobody that people are drawn to come to and listen to, right? So I would have to get a face that people would be drawn to come listen to, right? And you got to think about it. This whole Atlas Family Music Productions thing, it was just something that we did just in the spare of the moment. But now, if you look at it, it could be big. It could be big. And here's why it could be big. No one knows how to go out there and become a solo artist. They don't know the steps to it. They don't even know that you can download an application that's going to push your music on Spotify, iHeart. You get what I'm saying? Now, this goes back to what 6ix9ine was saying, right? You don't have to be the greatest person out there in music. All you got to do is pay to get your music pushed to the top, right? So if I paid for the spot for like Love is Love, right? When someone look up Love is Love, our music will come straight, will be on the straight top. You know what I mean?
Right.
So however you looking at this is an opportunity for us to help other people that's trying to get into the business but don't know how to get themselves out there, right? You give them a place where at least they can say, at least once you create an album for them or a mixtape with their songs on there, they can at least tell somebody, yo, go check out my song on Spotify, album this, track number 13 or whatever,
Even if
right?
it's just samples.
Right. Even if it's many samples of people's stuff, right? It's a digital management, right? A digital music management, right? And through Atlas Family Music Productions, we can open up that door for a digital music management. Now, starting off at ground level, you would have to get everybody that is willing to do it for free, right? But if it was a face behind it, more people will be willing to do it. This is why I understand how Jaguar is literally online, but they're not doing nothing. You can be an online face for digital sales, but you're not opening up. See, their wheelhouse, it's all about the wheelhouse. What's in your genre, right? Technology and an advancement of being able to think ahead of the curve is not in their repertoire. You get what I'm saying? That's why you got, old Dusty still trying to do, the same music bullshit that he was trying to do. 19-year-old trying to inspire a rapper. Now he 50 something years old still doing the same thing, right? But you got to take it off of yourself, right? In order to get ahead of this curve at the age that we're at, right? The investment can't go into us. It has to go into the youth. So we're reaching to a different audience. We got to get the youth. The older people, they're set in their ways. They want the drama. They want that. They got caught up with the entertainment value of things. And this is like 30 and up. 30 and up, we got caught up in this bullshit. You know what I mean? So you go after the youth. The youth is more open because they want to be trained for something greater. These older people do not want to be trained. They're set in their ways, right? That's why a lot of them can't even change their vocabulary. A lot of them can't even take certain words their vocabulary. Look at the Gen X movement. The Gen X movement was nothing more than older people coming together to say, we need to keep things the same. I didn't know that. I didn't know that when they came to me and they was like, yo, man, we want you to. No, you don't want me to be a part of that. I'm for unity. I'm not for separation. They looked at what the youth was doing online and decided they need to get online too and stand up for Gen X.
That doesn't make any sense.
It makes sense. If you're going through a fight with inside yourself, obviously you're going to create a fight outside yourself. Some people created fights with man. Some people created fights with woman. Some people created fights in religious expectations. Some people created fights in generational expectations. Some people created fights in their own household against generational curses. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody knows it's something deeper, but the perception on the outside is what they're creating a fight with. Some people having a fight with inside their self against masculine energy because they're denying masculine energy inside their vessel, right? And then the concept of masculine energy is misconstrued with a mixture of feelings and emotions that is not really a representation of masculine energy. It's actually a divine energy posing as a masculine energy, right? A masculine energy operates on logic, right? This is why at a time of like, medieval times, this is why the king always just did what was right for the kingdom, right? He did what was right for the kingdom beyond his own feelings and emotions. He had a duty to do what was right for the kingdom. So if it cost for him to send his offspring to a enemy side in order for a peace treaty to, because that's what they would do. They would trade off kids. Like, well, you take my kids, they're going to live here as a squire or whatever it is, and I'm going to take yours. And this is a what do they call it? This is a reminder of that peace, or you know what I mean? This is what represents this treaty. You know what I mean? How you treat this kid is basically a representation of the treaty that we have, right? So they used to pass their youth off in greater good of the kingdom. Even the daughters, the princesses, they knew we gonna have to marry one of these princes from another kingdom in order to ensure peace, right? It wasn't like that, right? Because logically, that's how they formed a society, right? Later on, that becomes a bridal fee, right? Now you're paying bridal fees, so on and so forth. Or maybe before that, it became a bridal fee because history repeats itself. So ain't nothing new under the sun, right? So now you have these constructs of ideal learning, right? To say that a woman is good for this, and this, right? Now, y'all fought for a long time to be equal, right? And now, because we're creatures of habits, even with that fight for equalness, right? You're going to still have a collective amount of women who think that their place is still in the kitchen in that home. So they're not doing the whole, whoever's bringing home the money, so on and so forth. That's a false idea. It's called gender reversal, right? In a gender reversal scheme, you want to misconstrue what represents feminine energy and what represents masculine energy, right? So even right now, the idea of feminine energy is to be promiscuous and do what you want to do based off of your feelings and emotions, right? And they'll say that's going with the flow. That's all divine feminine. That's a divine, you know what I mean? Logically, it don't make sense because your feelings and emotions will lead you in trouble. It will get you in trouble most of the time, 9 times out of 10, right? Because when you are operating off feelings and emotions, when someone does you wrong, you give them the feeling and emotion that comes with being done wrong. Therefore, your buttons are easier to push when you operate on feelings and emotions. All it takes is someone that's a quick study to learn you, and then they'll know how to make you move, right? Because they learned you through coercions of the heart by learning your mind. Give me your dreams, give me your aspirations. What are you inspired to be? Right? Now, through that coercion of your mind, I am now able to tamper with feelings and emotions, thus far operating the person that is nothing but feelings and emotions.
Like advertising.
Exactly.
Okay.
Advertisement puts the seed in your head, and then all of a sudden you see Toys R Us commercials, and then you ride by a Toys R Us and you think, damn, I want to stop in that place.
I want to be a kid again.
Right. So this is the same thing, right? So however you look at this, the false programming is embedded within our learning system, right? When you have a problem of that magnitude, it's not just about, oh, get rid of no, it's not about that. We have to, it's just like, look at the government. The government will not get rid of a plan unless they have another plan to replace it, to take, you know what I mean? You can't just get rid of something, right? Think about it. If they was to get rid of food stamps right now due to the fact that, 65% of America is on food stamps, it will cause an economy crash.
Oh,
You get what I'm saying?
it would cause
So,
riot, yeah.
so you would have to put a system in place, right? So you would have to say, okay, we are switching to a digital currency system, right? And to start everybody off, we are going to put excess amount of digital currency within a card for so on and so forth. Now, this creates two problems when you do that, right? They're only going to credit the people that's employed, right? Because there's no way to get all the people that's unemployed, right?
Well, there are ways, but yeah.
You will have to create an unemployment system that will pay them out throughout a period of time, like an unemployment. Last time they did that, everybody stopped working and everybody just collect unemployment because they was getting more money for unemployment than they was working at the job.
Right.
That created the PPP situation, which then created what we're in right now, which is a fucked up economy that don't want to work. Everybody's lazy. Like the solutions are actually fucking the system up.
Right.
Because it's like putting a Band-Aid on a bump. You know what I mean? Or ice on a cut. It's not the proper solution. The solution is not to give us money, because then we always got to keep coming back to you for money. So the system that they created is a downfall. You're not putting crafts back out there for us to craft. You're not allowing us to create brands around ourselves, right? Now, if you was to look into Chat GTP and you ask Chat GTP, what is the best way to get the economy out of the crisis that they're in, right? Chat GTP will tell you invest in small businesses. Ironically, it's the same thing that Barack Obama said when he was in office, right? Invest in small businesses. See, the problem is Barack Obama generalized it and said invest in black small businesses, right? But that's not it, because everybody's going to choose what business to invest in.
ChatGPT actually did say
Black small businesses,
yes,
right?
Specifically said that.
Chat GTP said that.
Yeah.
Do you know why Chat GTP said that?
Why?
Because Chat GTP has the knowledge to see that this already repeated itself, right? We already invested in what? White businesses, small businesses. How you think the mom and pop store started? How you think the Walmart started? How you think? So Chat GTP is saying you have to put the businesses in somebody else's hands, right? Because the businesses that's in hands right now already started off with corrupted minds, right? So you have to put it in a different demographic hands, right? Now, the problem with this is, and this is known to be true throughout the world. If you look at it on a global scale, and I hate to say this, right? There are certain groups of people that is way more forgiving than other groups of people.
Mhm.
So when you look at the groups of people that is more forgiving on a historical scale, with all of our stiff neck and all of our ignorance, Black people are more forgiving overall in history, right? So you say what?
And the Indians too.
But the Indians count as Black.
Yeah, you're right.
Because if you look at the definition of Black, the definition of Black was the absence of color. If you look at old dictionaries, if you look at old dictionaries, it will actually show you that white was considered to be Black because it was an absence of color, because it didn't absorb no color.
Mhm.
So white was actually considered to be Black.
Okay.
Black Webster, Black Law Dictionary, something like that. They used to consider white Black because Black wasn't a color in the crayon box. It was dark. Dark was a color in the crayon box. Black was something they created, right? Black was something that they titled. And I want you to think about this. How can someone who absorbs all the colors and can illuminate the light from the sun, how can you call them Black? It literally tells you that, it literally tells you that, you know what I'm saying, Black absorbs colors, right? And even if you look at photosynthesis, what takes place with plants, you will see that plants absorb color and they reflect the color that they are denying, which is green. Now, I want you to think about this.
I see.
If we also, as human beings, go through the same process that plants go through, right? Then are we not a reflection of the color that we rejecting?
Yes. That's interesting.
Because a plant is green because it's rejecting the color green.
Right.
If we are going through the same process that plants are going through, which is solar synthesis, not photosynthesis, then are we reflecting the color that we are?
Or does that mean that Caucasians don't have a color to reflect because white isn't a reflect, or isn't a?
I think your coloration has more to do with manipulation of DNA, which is like stripping the pigmentation and the absence of the sun and procreating. Like, say at a time people procreated in caves, your body will develop a certain whatever in order to exist within inside the darkness of the cave, which will be absent of certain variations of carbon or pigmentation that will allow whatever, right? Can't really go back into the history of Caucasus Mountains or the creation of, because it's been distorted so much, right? But however you look at this, procreation is a process. And in that procreation process, there are certain things that take place that will allow people to manipulate the growth of the offspring. And this goes back to the biblical days. If you read the book of Enoch, it'll tell you that, Noah, before he was born, his father took him to Enoch and said, "What should I do with him?" Because Noah's father was scared. Noah was three different colors. You know what I mean? He was three different colors. It didn't know what to do with him. They like, what the fuck? I think they say like his eyes was red, his skin was black and his hair was blonde, something like that. But he was 3 different colors. And Enoch said, "Name him Noah, for he will be great." You know what I mean? And that's where the whole Noah Ark story came from. A lot of people don't even know that Enoch is Noah's granddad. A lot of people don't know that because the books that were stripped, all the books that were separated and misplaced. And when you read like the Dead Sea Scrolls, or you read the book of Enoch, you'll see like, oh shit, so this is supposed to be in there somewhere. You know what I mean? Because Enoch is one of 2 people that has no recollection of an unaliving in the biblical text. He walked with God so wholeheartedly that literally God came and took him up. He has no recollection of a death.
Of his father?
No, Enoch.
Mhm.
Enoch is the grandfather. But
Oh.
Enoch walked with God so wholeheartedly in the biblical text. Enoch walked with God so wholeheartedly that he did not pass. Like they have no, it's like they say that, you know, God came down and got him and he, you know what I mean? And he has no story of an unaliving. He has no story of an unaliving. Not like Christ. Christ's story of an unaliving is a martyrdom system, is a system placed, you know what I mean? But in the old text, Enoch has no story like that. So when the Council of Nicaea voted these books to be in, they voted the 66 books to be in, they didn't put that in there, right? And that's why, you know, this whole mystery around 666 being the creation of man, because that is what we're trapped in. We're trapped inside the carbonated system of the 666, which is the chemical makeup of mankind. That's what we're trapped in. Not as humans, we are trapped in there as essence, as essential beings, right? This is where, if you look up the group of Christians that came before the Christian Crusade, this is why they were called Essenes, right? Because they realized the essence that is inside the vessel that makes us uniquely made, right? They realize the secret of the secretion that is inside the vessel that makes us uniquely made. So when the Greeks and stuff talked about the Holy Ghost, Holy Spirit, right? This is the Greek word for the breath of life, right? Because there's a essence from the universe that is breathed into us, right? And that comes in through an idea of stardust. So think about the inside of your body being constructed of however many pieces of stardust it needs to operate, right? This is why the Dogon tribe taught that they came from the stars, because previously we had not only did we have chemicals down here that we would use in order to enhance different variations of neural transmissions through our body. Your body is a conductor, right? So when you allow that conductor to conduct what it does, which is the balance between the earth and the universe, there's going to be so much information that's going to transfer from you to the universe. Think about a system being backed up, right? When you finally open that system again, what happens? Flood. So if there's universal knowledge, that universal knowledge is sitting there backed up because the balance is off, right? So if every time one vessel, if we collectively connect ourselves back to consciousness, then consciousness will have all the vessels that it needs to push this energy back into this verse, right? But because they block off knowledge, then occasionally one person or a couple of people taps into this, and then the information that floods in is so overwhelming that they drive themselves crazy. You get what I'm saying? This is why they give you the story of He-Man, right? Story of He-Man tells you master of the universe, right? But through that gravestone sword, whoever had the sword became master of the universe, right? through the power of gravestone, right? And this is tied to Harry Potter, right? The Sorcerer's Stone, right? The Sorcerer's Stone allowed you to do what? Speak with people from the past, speak with your deads, right? So when you're looking at this, they've been telling us these stories. They've been telling us these stories. The invisible cloak, Sorcerer's Stone, that goes back to the story of the Deathly Hallows, right? Someone met the devil at the Sea of Fear. 3 brothers met the devil at the Sea of Fear, and the devil said, "You guys bested me. What can I give you?" And one of them asked for a cloak so they won't be seen, so they can always escape. One of them asked for an unbeatable wand. Now, ironically, isn't this unbeatable wand the same as the Excalibur story? The sword that the king gets, got to take it out the stone, so on and so forth, right? It's the same as He-Man. It's the same as, it's a repeated story. The same as Hercules, right? It's the same as the stories before that. I mean, even if you get into the Rise of the Titan stories, it's the same story. Something has to travel to the depths in order to free something that's going to save us all. But what if that is inside the vessels of mankind?
Yeah, for
That
sure.
means you would have to dig or dive within the depths of side of each person in order to free them. This is why Christ called himself a fisher of man. Because with the knowledge and wisdom that he was putting out there, he was saving men. He was saving women. He was giving them a civilized mind. He was creating a firmament in the multitude. They stopped that. When they figured out how to stop it, they wrote a pamphlet of how to keep stopping it. You ever notice how intellectual people always seem to pass, but the people who they want to present to you, which is the entertainers, the fucking goofballs, the addicts, so on and so forth, they seem to be soaring to higher heights. It's a program. So they put the people in place that they want in place, but they make it seem like that's not it.
Right.
I want you, and if you think about it, you can look at everybody that's in place. I point out Christian Rock because it's a great example, right? White 100 said, "We found Christian Rock on the streets of Baltimore with a backpack, barefooted," basically making it seem like she was like a bum that just came out of nowhere.
Right.
That's not true. Because if you look back at Christian Rock's history, he was a track star, right? She was always in there. She tried out for so much stuff and it never went through. But when they did the bad person image, she blew up with the bad character. If you go back to Ronnie's conversations, when Ronnie was talking, Ronnie was saying stuff like, she was always with that, God stuff. She always, one time she walked up on somebody and started praying for them, da 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 da. But when you think about this is an image that they told her to sell because Christian Rock was analyzing the internet. She wanted to go viral. She wanted to be big. She seen what Woe Vicky did. Woe Vicky faked this whole God thing in order to get famous. She would do the fucked up shit, but then she would just say, God this, God that, Jesus this, Jesus that. She blew up. They was using God as a way to get famous, even though they was doing the fucked up shit. And then every time it was God this, God that. Jaguar Wright analyzed their actions and did the same thing. Using religion and using people. This is considered to be coercion of the heart because we have been trained in our minds so much to stay within, idea of our religion, right? Anybody who seemed connected to that religion, we almost feel obligated to support. Look at the Muslims. If you notice, all of the religions, before they determine whether they agree with you or not, what do they ask you?
What is your religion?
What's your religion?
Right.
Before they even determine whether they
Flag
the,
they
the
fly.
exactly,
Yeah.
that what they ask you.
Yeah.
What's your religion? All Christians ask you what's your religion before they're going to hear you out. They're going to hear, oh man, you saying some good stuff. You saying some good stuff. You saying some good stuff. What's your religion? And then soon as it don't fit, oh yeah, I can't. Is it? What does it matter what religion I am in if the stuff that I'm saying makes sense?
Yeah, I agree.
Now you're gonna put me in the title of a religion, but then you're gonna take sense off the table as soon as you do that. Because as soon as you put me in a religion, you're going to ideally expect me to act according to what you think that religion is or is supposed to act. If someone told you that a Christian is supposed to be this way, then how you write a book that makes people suckers and get mad at the person that read the book the right way. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
The book tells you to keep on allowing people to do you wrong in a world where people like doing people wrong.
Right.
The book don't tell you to stand up for righteousness. The book don't tell you to, if no one is supposed to do anything to a child, who's protecting that child? Who's enforcing these laws from this book? Nobody. Now, how is it that renownedly everybody wants to go by this book, but nobody's following the rules that come with this book? Make it make sense. How do you have a book in a world that nobody follows, but they always refer back to this book?
Right.
The book says, do everything in your power to practice peace with one another. Why nobody read that? The book say, if you are a follower of the Antichrist, then, God is not in you, right? The book specifically say there's only two type of people down here, followers of the Antichrist and followers of Christ. He who do not believe that Christ can come in the flesh, but believe that the Antichrist can come in the flesh, is a follower of the Antichrist. In other words, if you believe that the devil can take over somebody, but don't believe that God can take over somebody, you a follower of the devil. If you believe that somebody can be possessed by a demon, but don't believe somebody can be possessed by an angel, you a follower of the devil. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do.
So there's no possible way that the devil's minions is stronger than God's soldiers. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
So if the devil's down there taking over vessels, why do we know about that? Why do we know about the devil and demons and being possessed by that, but we don't know what the angels are doing? Because how can everybody be demonic? How can everybody be on demon time? Something's not right. That means that they are selling us the image of that, putting it in our head because we're creatures of habit. So now there's different variations of demonic energies that are pretending to be good, but still keep on doing demonic shit. Where's the angelic energies at? Our bodies have angelic energies. Why do you think the universe is so confused? Because we know we have angelic energies inside of us. That's the shit that make you smile when a kid is happy. That's the shit that make you want to protect them, keep on doing for them. Those are angelic energies. People suppress the angelic energies inside their self so bad, but they always feeding the demonic ones. Why are we so quick to feed anger, greed, gluttony, revenge, hurt, pain? Why are we so quick to feed that? Nobody's out here feeding kindness, generosity, love. Like, no, you don't notice that in the world. It's getting more and more unbalanced. It's getting more and more unbalanced. The older generation don't give a fuck. They're on their way out. You think they give a fuck about fixing something on their way out? It wasn't fixed for them. I had to go through it. Let they ass go through it. Let them figure it out. We had to figure it out. And our youth is unruly. So unless we create a better exemplary measure to strive for, our youth is going to keep on praising this fuck shit. Look at their idols. They got Kai Cenat, I Show Speed, Rakai. That's their idols. Our youth is raising the youth. You think you could tell your kids something right now? You can't. Nobody can really tell their kids something. You better off telling the best friend and let the best friend tell the kid. They'll believe it if they best friend tell them. You saying it, you just a mom, you just a dad, you just a family member. You ain't shit, right? So if they know that our youth is being raised by the idols, why aren't our idols doing better? Because the idols, they don't benefit by being a good example. They don't benefit by being a good example. They benefit, their endorsements, their sponsorships, it comes from the bad guy image. Everything comes from the bad guy image. Everything. Half of these people, all the fighting, all the madness that's going on, y'all all getting the same circulatory money. Drake beefing with Kendrick beefing with Drake, swing it back around, let's beef again, let's do it all again. It was a good payday, because that's what they all looking at. You know what I'm saying? So what Drake do? Come out with another album where he attacks everybody again for a good payday. Beef is the wave now. Controversy is the wave now. Everybody's making money off of controversy and beefing. Nobody's looking at the destruction that it's doing to people's life water or to their vessel. Nobody's looking at it. But if you walk around, you can see it in people's faces. Half of our elites, they look sick in the face. Look like something's wrong with them. I don't know how we missed it before. Maybe the makeup was covering it up. Maybe it was too much lighting. Maybe it was because we idolized them. I don't know. But now when I look at them, I see demons. I see demons. From Busta Rhymes, Usher, I see demonic people. And I can't not see it no more. Like, I can't not see it. They're all different shades of demonic energies. And they're all fighting to pretend to be right within their demonicness. Like their demonicness is better than someone else's demonicness when it's all strive from the same thing. They really don't want to be here. Misery loves company. None of them waking up smiling. Every waking moment is a miserable moment, and they just want to go to sleep. So, and it's creating this energy with, like, look at our youth. Look at how much energy is being drained from they sleeping all day. And that's not even including the spectrums. There's a lot of spectrum-based adults out there that will not admit that they're spectrum. They was born in the 70s. They was born in the 80s. They was born in the early 90s. They're adults now. Their family hid it for so long that they don't even know nothing's wrong. Like, they think they normal. You know, the craziest thing is, like, neurotypical. But no, you know, the craziest thing is a crazy person don't know they're crazy.
Right.
They think they're the normal one. What, normal?
No, neurotypical. Because technically, normalcy is a way.
Well,
based on whatever,
now, I want you to think about that. That is based off of feelings and emotions for us to keep on catering towards variations of words, but we don't cater to kindness the way we cater to variations of words. We don't cater to, generosity the same way we cater to words, right? It's a talk to me nice type society, but treat me nasty. Talk to me nice, but treat me nasty.
Exactly.
That's the type of society we live in. Talk to me nice. I don't care how you treat me, but talk to me nice. It's not, none of it makes sense. Now, however you looking at this, something is off. Something is off in our training, in our learning, how we absorb each other's, like, think about it. I sat on TikTok, sat on YouTube for however many years. And the only thing people want to do is come in and prove me wrong.
I know. It's the weirdest thing. It's like an ego trip. Like
That's all they want to come in and do is prove me wrong.
It's just
and they don't never come back when all the stuff that I'm saying is right. They don't never come back and be like, damn, bro, you was right. When they go, some of them don't even go and do the search themselves to see that there's 88 constellations, 144 chromosomes within the body that should be flaring off. So they don't even go do all they want to do is say blasphemous, blasphemous. So we've been trained to find something wrong since we were kids. When they pass you that piece of paper and say, which one don't belong? Find everything in this picture that's not there, right? What they give you two pictures. One picture look like it's supposed to look, the other picture got things that's not supposed to be there, right? And then they say, find the 5 items that's not supposed to be there, right? Which it creates a elimination process within our mainframe. So now we're not trained to say, well, if it's there, it's supposed to be there. We're trained to look for what's not supposed to be there. So if we was to sit down and fix the world, what we doing? We're looking for what's not supposed to be there. So now black people think white people shouldn't be there. White people think black people shouldn't be there. And everybody's got the same fucked up mindset and way of thinking because why? That one piece of paper that said, find everything that's wrong. You ain't got no training that say, point out the great things in this picture. Tell me why this picture is good. Tell me why everything is an elimination process. What don't belong? Tell me what don't belong. Tell me what don't belong. What the fuck? That it created a fucked up way of thinking. Now we're looking at each other and deciding that each other don't belong. But in the infinite universe, everything that is always was and always will be. So if it exists now, then it always existed and it just needed a time to exist then. So even when white was created because white needed a time to exist. So therefore it was, right? So shall it be, right? And right now, the world needs a new nation. So shall it be in this time. So right now, a new nation is being born, right? Because that's what happens down here. New consciousness is born. When it said that Mother Earth and the universe was doing their thing again, what you think they was birthing? A new wave of consciousness. So now this new wave of consciousness is here and everybody's combating it. Everybody's fighting it. Nobody's letting be what be. Nobody's allowing the flow to take place inside of them. Everybody knows inside themselves something telling them, you better get right. Better get right. Out on the outside of themselves, they're applying it to what they want to apply it to. I gotta quit this job because I gotta let y'all go because that's you picking and choosing what's telling you to get right. This is why I'm just flowing. I'm just flowing. Every day I wake up, every day I'm in that moment, every day I allow a flow to take place. And I know it's going to get chaotic as it takes place. You know what I mean? It's like watching a wave hit the beach. You know, that wave is going to come back a little bit stronger. That wave is going to come back a little bit stronger. And based off of what's going on in the depths of those seas, right? it can determine how strong that wave hits the surface, right? So if you apply that same method to the inside of your body, then all you have to do is weather the storm. Because if it's a wave, then what you bring to the surface is how you respond. Your crash, that wave inside of you is the ocean, and it's showing you what it's bringing to the surface. We're not dealing with it properly because collectively we're yearning for something, some level of unity. We can't see it. Why do you think? Why do you think I'm a rare breed? Where did that word even come from? To say, man, you're a rare type of person. You're a rare person. You unique. You rare. Why do you think people say that? It's only rare because you don't see it. People look at me and say, damn, you take care of kids that's not yours. Damn, you trying to do, you rare. Why is it rare?
Right.
Because it's not seen. Why is it appreciated? Because you don't see it. It's like when you see a gentleman, it's like, oh, thank you. That's a surprise.
It is a surprise. Yeah, especially lately.
It's a surprise to see chivalry.
Yes.
Oh, damn, that dude just paid me a compliment. He didn't want my number. He didn't want anything. He just told me I had beautiful hair. That's rare. How is that rare? That means we are not saying enough kindness because you don't hear it in the world. Now, when you hear an act of kindness, it's rare. It need to be appreciated. It need to be thanked. Think about that. That means it's not normal. That means you're not seeing it enough. That means we're practicing more sarcasm than we are compassion. That means we're practicing more ridicule, than we are reform. We're practicing these things on each other. Listen, this is what makes me say, like, I just want to go and be like by myself sometimes. Because everything that I say, I really apply to my life, or at least try to, right? I step away from things. Let me go talk to myself about it. Let me go, right? People force their issues. When people got a bone to pick, they feel like they need to go pick that bone. That's why our parents always said, old habits die hard. If you make it a habit, it becomes you. Think about it. Even in school, if kids make it a habit to always smart talking to teacher, always trying to, use the teacher as a spectacle to gain favor with their friends, right? It became a habit. And now look, our youth use us for their entertainment so they can gain favor with their friends based off the level of disrespect that their friends think the parents should have. I talk to my parents anyway. I want to talk to my parents. And next thing you know, your kid trying to talk to you how they want to talk to you because their friends telling them that they talk to their parents, however. How many times do kids come home and say, well, my teacher told me, or my friend's mom let him, I don't give a fuck what your friend's mom let him do. You know what I mean? It's so many scenarios like that, right? And then you got to think about it. When it's time for our kids to go into youth, like going to school, that's the most pivotal point of their learning, right? And then we send them to school and they get picked on at school, stuff like that. The teachers say that it's all part of social construct.
The kids told me that yesterday, that bullying makes them stronger.
Because the teachers are teaching them that. So that means the teachers are in school condoning the bullying service.
Yeah.
But then they got to analyze some shit if somebody come to school and toot everything up.
Right.
But y'all are turning a blind eye towards certain variations. And not only that, they are actually creating a system where they get to determine the level of learning that your kid get, which determine the level of job that they get. If I'm only teaching your kid, McDonald's services, then what the fuck your kid gonna become? McDonald's services.
Mhm.
That's why they have career day. That's why they, back in the day it was easier to point out because they had that color code system on the side of the books. It had like 4 squares on the side of your books, and then it was like blue, green, yellow, or one of those colors, and that determined the level that you were learning at. And I knew this because I moved around from group home to group home, foster care to foster care. So when I would get different science books in this suburb area that I would get in the different in the urban area, I would ask like, why is this a yellow earth science book, but this earth science book is green? Oh, different learning. What the fuck you mean? What do you mean different learning? Is earth science not earth science? You know what I mean? What are you? This is why, like, my parents always used to say, you make sure you read stuff before you sign and get into that. I always used to make sure that I read into some shit. So, like, when the grading system came, the grading system is based off of environments. Certain environments ain't learning certain things. They not teaching you certain things in certain environments. They not teaching you certain advanced learning. See, I was lucky enough to where as though like I was smart enough to where as though they were like, we should put you up a grade. We should put you. I mean, look at both my sons. That's a grade point average of a 3.6 and a grade point average of a 3.3, something like that. And a lot of sports, you only need a 2.3. Yeah. All the sports and the entertainment stuff, you only need a 2.3. But you can ask my kids, like I used to make them do homework. Sit down, do this, do that, do your history. Because education is paramount. I think, the more you learn, the more you grow. The Bible say a man should not eat off of bread alone. And that was saying that you can't live off of this carnal world alone. You have to have something, within your brain, within your, you know, you have to have that. Some type of variation of knowledge, wisdom. You have to always want to grow within your mind. A lot of people stop growing within their mind. There are a lot of people that's down here that got physical growth, but don't got no type of mental growth. You know, a lot of people down here got physical growth, ain't got no sort of mental growth. You know, and I'm gonna try. We're gonna try to do more lives more often. I see the Discord has became like empty. I don't know what's going on, but y'all better get y'all asses back to the Discord. Where all my sister wives go? Huh? What the fuck going on? Ain't nobody motherfucking checking in and shit. Now all my sister wives is gone. All of them disappear. I can't find none of them now. They ain't in the Discord no more. Huh? I'm gonna have to go out there and get me some more damn sister wives. I have to put applications out there. Let me put applications in on TikTok, see if I can get me some more sister wives. Lisa, nobody cares if you like Discord. You're not even invited to the Discord. You said that we watching your page and you watch us so much. I don't know why you bringing up the Discord. You're not even a sister wife. You've been around this long. What is your problem? Huh? This person is crazy. Would you like to come up? Because at this point, you might as well let us know who you is. At this point, I'm gonna have to think that you Cleo or somebody. For real. Cause it ain't no way. Ain't no way you keep responding to conversation like I'm just in the room talking to you and you only. Like, it ain't even making no sense how you keep on responding. That's self-centered than a mother. You ain't even trying to acknowledge the other people in the room. You ain't trying to acknowledge that you act like this is a personal text log or some shit. She keep on responding like this is a one-on-one conversation. This shit is crazy. You're not just listening to me. If you're typing stuff in the comment section, you're not just listening. What are you talking about? How you say I'm just listening, but you hella typing shit in the comment section? I bring up the Discord. She's like, I don't even mess with Discord. Like, how you typing stuff but denying the shit that you typing? I'm just listening. How is you just listening, making statements? Come on, that's you're insulting my intelligence. You think you could just tell me anything, huh? Tell him that the ducks outside is barrowing. Yes, I believe it. So however we look at this, a lot of things is changing in this verse, great things is happening. I implore y'all to be a part of the great things. Um, you know, we're opening up the door for a lot of new things. I'm renegotiating my contract with the program on TikTok as far as the TikTok agency goes, because TikTok is doing a second branch of TikTok, I think, for Americans coming up in September. So if you ain't get familiar with TikTok, then I'm telling you, get familiar with TikTok, because once they do start this, second American version of TikTok, whatever it is, basically you're going to be able to build a business, a corporation, around yourself, so they're going to make it so that way, it's more business. So because they got to find a way to tax this TikTok money that's coming in. It's too many people making an ass load of money being NPCs. And that brings me to my next project. You know what I'm saying? A friend of mine got a property with a bunch of little houses and stuff on there. We're gonna see if we can create like a little shit. What can we call it? TikTok farm? I know, but if we put like 3 content creators in each of those houses, because it's 6 houses out there or 6 buildings out there, I want that little window booth and the dollar store. General store. Yeah. I think those 2 buildings is good. Because I could do the crystal shop in the general store and then do I can set somebody up doing NPC in that glass thing. They can just stand there and do NPC. Maybe I'll get the hood. Yeah, maybe I'll get the hood NPC guy to be doing there, just in the window doing NPC, because that's a look. People will come through and walk through and see that if every house had different variations of TikTok activity going on. Next time we go out there, I'm gonna sit down with them and talk to them about it. Because that's 2 antique shops that's right there. That NPC thing is so annoying. Yes, it is. But you see them over there making money out of they going out to public areas and NPCing. You know what I mean? They not just doing it in a house. They going out to the Miles Morales done changed that whole NPC thing all up. Everybody, NPC professional now. They I got a job. I'm an NPC. I seen this girl on TikTok the other day. She telling everybody else to get a job. And when they say, what's your job? She say, I'm a professional beggar on TikTok. That is my job. I'm a professional beggar. She say she is a professional beggar on TikTok. I'm a professional beggar. That's my job. But you need to get a job. She telling everybody else that's doing the same thing to get a job as she do it. But she's in a country where American money goes a long way. So she's getting American currency and she living good as hell, buying BMWs and shit like that over there in Nigeria. Oh, them Nigeria scammers are all over this NPC shit. I'm telling you. If you go look at TikTok, you will see like that's why like I wanted my agency to be based off of integrity. Cause you see TikTok about to take off now. Once it get an American, deity, it's gonna take off. So, for all the people that said, TikTok this, TikTok that, okay. Okay. I just want to help people be great. I know they really not going to try to push minds out there because I speak about knowledge and stuff like that. I need the people to actually, help me want to build it. But, a lot of people don't want to build a place of knowledge, a place of wisdom. So we all we got, Atlas family. So I really, need y'all to help me build this shit. Cause they not building it. That's why they have battle for libraries. That's why they analyzing social media so much. You know what I mean? To make sure that, um, you know, make sure this and make sure that. That's why they doing that. I know that this ain't something people want to invest in. People want to invest in an amusement park. Lust, greed, gluttony. That's the stuff people want to invest in. I get it. That owl is from the Congos of Africa. That's a African owl. It's a rarity. Yeah. That owl is from the Congos of Africa. She sit on the backs of Wichitas, who sits on the backs of camels, who fly from Afghan to Africa. He from Africa. He probably speak Portuguese. He probably from Senegal. All right, let's get some music going. Which song? I can't. Well, the single is out for this right here. So y'all make sure y'all go to y'all. The single is out. And listen, I'm thinking like maybe every Friday we should host like a music competition on TikTok to try to see whoever wins will promote their music on Spotify and stuff like that. Let's do what Jaguar is not doing and reach out to the people. Right? Hey, Jaguar, now that you and Wolf Coochie is you mind, I'm telling you, Jaguar, this is the summer for change. This the summer for change, Jaguar. You should have just changed. You should have just realized that, I know Wolf Coochie got you the furthest that you ever been because he got you monetized, started getting you money. But the boy ain't smart, okay? Wolf Coochie is not smart, okay? He dumb. He dumb as hell. He got 2 phones in his pocket thinking he AP Technologies. It's not a technical thing about him. He is a radio face, right? He don't know shit about this internet. He don't know how to get you certain levels of advancement on this internet. You know what I'm saying? You got fucked with a winning team. We winning. I know y'all mad because y'all decided to choose losers, and now y'all mad because listen, Cat Williams said winners cannot let losers rewrite the future. All right. So there's no possible way we can sit here and let y'all rewrite the future or rewrite history, right? Because that shapes the future. So you're rewriting some falsitries in history, and then you're trying to reshape it into an idea that you want. That's not how it's going to work. Y'all didn't win. Y'all didn't win. So the universe ain't listening to you. The universe is listening to somebody, though. And that's why we see the change that we see. Hey, y'all put y'all teacups in the comment section. Everybody put your black teacups in the comment section. Hey, yeah, don't worry about it. The universe not listening to them. They're trying to shape the universe to put us in a negative verse so they can keep on benefiting from it. But the universe is not listening to them. And that's why they having so many problems right now. They can't put us in the mindset that they want us in. So the universe is fucking their ass up. Getting messy. We having black tea. Put the cups in the teacup. Time for a tea party. All right, I gotta step outside for a second.
Is moving on them streets, but it's caught between them lies. Who be grifting, who cheats, who be sending round them spies. Beef on top of beef all day, every day. Troublemakers put on display. Do you want some black tea? Won't you come and take a sip? We serving black tea, but be careful not to slip. Black tea, taste of drama real good. Do you want some black tea? In the YT neighborhood. Do you want some black tea? Welcome to our tea. What's it gonna be? Why do you deny me?
Trevor Green was good with you, man. I like what you're doing with those cartoons over there, man. If you could, let me use some of your if I use your content, don't strike me, Trevor Green. All right, I might play some of your cartoons over here, so that way people can go check them out. I see you doing cartoons. We might as well link up, and that way I can promote your stuff on TikTok and shit. You know what I'm saying? And get you some numbers and shit. All right, so hit me up in the Discord.
On your throne, Stuck in a loop for how long? Your pride convinced the right is wrong. When I speak, you say you're listening. When will you ever hear me? Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love. Was your heart ever my home? So cold that chaos sits on your throne. Stuck in a loop for how long? Your pride convinced that right is wrong. When I speak, you say you're listening. When will you ever hear me? Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love. Why do you deny me? You chose the lie created for you just to hide in. Why obsessed about surviving? Fighting over creation made for all to thrive in. When love speaks, you say you're listening. I wonder if you hear me. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love. Was your heart ever my home? So cold that chaos sits on your throne. Stuck in a loop for how long? Your pride convinced the right is wrong. When I speak, you say you're listening. When will you ever hear me? Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love. Was your heart ever my home? So cold that chaos sits on your throne. Stuck in a loop for how long? Your pride convinced that right is wrong. When I speak, you say you're listening. When will you ever hear me? Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love. Why do you deny me? You chose the lie create.
Oh, I was muted. All right, there we go. So yeah, so I just want you guys to pay attention to it. I really want you guys to open your eyes to everything, you know. I know that a lot of y'all are not in that grand understanding of things, and that's okay. It's okay to be where you are in understanding because where you are is right where you need to be, you know? So it's okay to be in that mindset of where you are right now, you know? Um it's um, you know, so uh I just know that, and I know every time I start, uh every time I start like pushing the love and peace thing, everybody always step away. Every time I start speaking about unification, you know, in this collective, like they always start pushing away. I get it. Everybody's not gonna make it. I fully get everybody's not gonna make it, you know. Um and everybody's not going to get it. Everybody's not going to understand like the struggle, the journey. Y'all want me to keep on talking about certain things. I'm sorry if that those things that you guys want me to keep on talking about, it's not beneficial. It's not beneficial for me to keep on, going back and forth with these grifters. Fighting grifters is not beneficial. All they're doing is tarnishing, your name, your reputation, your image, right? And the whole time they don't care about their name, reputation, or image. They don't care, right? So however you look at this, it's it's really based off of us. What are we giving our attention to? What are we focused on? What are we paying attention to? So on and so forth, right? That's what it's about. But a lot of people get it misconstrued and they're looking at it thinking that it's based off of, you know, oh, uh, of course they're going to push the numbers into the rooms that are, beefing. That's entertainment to them to keep us going back and forth with each other, to keep us fighting each other, so on and so forth. That's very entertaining. And it works for us to say that that's the only image that we represent. When you got a bunch of black people and that all they doing is constantly fighting, that's the ideal image. That's like, yep, that's their ideal image. That's what we expected. We expected that, you know what I mean? And that's crazy. To me, that's crazy. It's like, what is it? Like, what is that? Someone please tell me. Someone please tell me what is that? Like, how? How's the only image that we represent is rage? How's the only image that we represent is fighting? And that's the only image that they portray. That's the only image that they'll let you portray is that image. So I think that's kind of crazy right there. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of crazy. And I think it's crazy. I think what's even crazier is that people want to live up to that image, the bad guy, you know, the bad guy, you know, everybody's leading up to that bad guy image. So I guess is right now, what you're looking at is, the 7 years for 7 years, or did we pass it? But who is that? But the way I see it is, everything is everything. Everything is everything. This is going to happen according to however you think it happens. But the world is what it is. You see the stuff that's going on. They making each other famous off of bullshit. Once you do that, once you become famous off of that, it's over with. It's over with once you do that. Once you set up some type of construct to where as though this system keeps on revolving, now we stuck in this. We can't get out of it because people made it normal. They normalized it. So because they normalized this system, now look at the system that we're in. We're in a system where everybody's just doing what they want to do based off of their feelings and emotions, and be damned if anybody else stops what they feel. I feel like this, I feel like that. Nobody can't tell me how I feel, and my feelings ain't valid, and da 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 da. So how can you justify your feelings being valid, but can't justify nobody else's feelings being valid? You can't make that up. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. But that's what it is. We living in a world like that. And I ain't even including like brute force, right? There are just so many situations that's based off of brute, but you'll see it. Y'all make sure y'all hit the Cash App. Hit the Cash App. Hit the, I don't know. We moving towards greater things, trying to do greater things, but progression is slow. Progression is a little slow. It's a little slow. I could say that. You know what I mean? It's a little slow. But like I said, however we go about this, it's a collective. We're in it together. We're putting the music out there. We're just waiting to pretty much get heard. We're just waiting to pretty much get heard. Waiting for somebody to be like, you know what? That's a good sound. Because that's all it takes. Think about it. Timberland is using AI now to create music. Timberland is using AI to create music. We're just ahead of him. We're just ahead of him on the curve. You know what I mean? That's all it is. You just made one. Mm. I know I'm not a black tea, persona, but this is the algorithm that they stuck me in. They did the same thing on TikTok. And TikTok, I was in the algorithm of learning and talking about the biblical stuff, talking about, Zechariah Stitchen's Earth Chronicles. I was actually in Debate Talk, right? And what they did to Debate Talk, they turned Debate Talk into Messy Talk. So then it became Messy Talk. So when I was trying to talk to the people in TikTok, black people in TikTok, what they did was they decided to disown me. So I'm like, you can't disown me from something I never was a part of. So the black people on TikTok decided to disown me because I wouldn't fight the fight that they wanted to fight, which was against white. They wanted me to, don't give them our knowledge. Don't give them if you, one of the ones that's getting the knowledge and the wisdom, don't give it to them. That's where we fucked up the first time, all this other dumb shit. And then when I tell them, like, how did that fuck us up the first time if white didn't exist when we got fucked over? If white didn't exist when we got fucked over, then white wasn't the problem. That means we were always the problem of ourselves. That's why Hitler said, don't worry about the black race. They'll destroy themselves. Because that's all we do. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. I personally, I personally look at it how I look at it personally. I'm looking at it like, for the ones who do want to do better, eventually it'll happen. There's a lot of people that just don't want better in this world. That's my opinion. Not everybody is in this world with intentions of good. Not everybody in this world with intent of good. Not everybody is trying to, practice goodness. And it's crazy because, when you look at this, life is showing you certain variations of, experimental measures. And we supposed to be learning from this stuff. So why are we not learning? Why are we still doing the same thing that our predecessors did? Why are we still in the same problem that our, previous selves are in? Like, how? How are we still in it? We got to do better. We got to want to do better. We got to want to do better. Oh man, it's all right. Exactly. It had to come all the way to this point so we can be the ones to change it. You absolutely right. It had to get to this point so we can change it. Hey, love is love. Namaste. I say salutations, salam, peace. If nobody told you they love you today, let me be the first but not the last. I love you.
Try to replace us with a mystery. Sometimes you wonder how could this be? They still try to keep us down. They wanna take away our good land and scattered like dry sand. Replace your home, your God, your food, and still they wanna wear your crown. How do they feel playing you, knowing that we used to rule? Right now we just play it cool and watch them play the fool. Yes, 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 you're still the king. Yes, 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 and it's everlasting. Yes, 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 you're still the king of this world. Yes, 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 you're still the queen. Yes, 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 see your glow, see your sheen. Yes, 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 the king and the queen of this world. They living now like how we used to. We want it back but they refuse to. Return our shit like they supposed to. They still trying to keep us down. They feeling safe like we forgotten. Think we relate to picking cotton. Their imitation is so rotten, playing dress up in no crown. So how do they feel playing you, knowing that we used to rule? Now we just playing it cool and watch them act a fool. But yes, 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 you're still the king. Yes, 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 and it's everlasting. Yes, 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 you're still the king of this world. Yes, 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 you're still the queen. Yes, 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 see your glow, see your sheen. Yes, 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 the king and the queen of this world. You're still the king. You're still the king. You're still the king and the queen of this world. You're still the queen. You're still the queen. You're still the king and the queen of this world. Yes, 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 you're still the king. Yes, 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 and it's everlasting. Yes, 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 you're still the king of this world.